With that down and out of the way, let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Greg Phillips, who writes, "Hey, John. First of all, I loved your Anatomy of a Fake Movie Story video that you did earlier. Well, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. I got to show you guys my incredible art skills. Okay, with your video in mind, did you see the reports about Ben Stiller possibly being in Fast 9? The report comes from Page 6 in the UK, which isn't the absolute most reliable source, but it's also not a bad one. Do you think Stiller will actually be in F9, and what do you think about his appearing in it?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Greg. And so what Greg's referring to, yesterday on Open Mic, I did this little bit of a breakdown called The Anatomy of a Fake Movie Story. And basically, we charted out, and I used my incredible artist skills to break down, this is how most of these fake movie news stories get started. They start with an unknown website that nobody's ever heard of and would normally just ignore. But then the first aggregator, like a Screen Rant or something, will go, ooh, we can run that as a story. And then they run it. And then since they ran it, 15 other sites will run it because, ooh, now it's starting to look legitimate because it's on Screen Rant or Movie Web or whatever, starting to look legitimate. So then 15 other sites run it. And then you get the movie fan who is seeing 15, 20, 30, 50, 70 websites running the story, and therefore it looks kind of legitimate. And we went through that whole process. So now comes this story that Ben Stiller is going to appear in Fast 9, a movie I believe they've wrapped filming on. I'm not certain. But Page 6, as you mentioned, is not exactly the most reliable source. But at the same time, it's not always wrong. You know what I mean? It's got quasi reliability. So it's at least worth looking at and discussing about whether or not this could be true. So let's take a look at this. This is what Page 6 said in a very, very short story that they wrote on this. In what would be a fascinating casting decision, Page 6 is told that Ben Stiller will have a role in the latest installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise. Even though the Zoolander star isn't exactly known for his high-octane petrol-head performances, we're told that Stiller is due to begin shooting scenes for F9 soon. It seems likely that it'll be a small part. All right, so that comes to us from Page 6. I think there are a couple of reasons to believe that this is not true. And I think there are a couple of reasons to believe that maybe it is true. So let's talk first here, Rob, about why this probably maybe isn't true. Number one, they shot the movie. The movie's shot. I mean, so there's that. It seems a little late in the game to be adding somebody like a Ben Stiller to something like this. Number two, if Ben Stiller, who is still a very big name in this business, was going to appear in this film, you'd think the people to break the story would not have been Page 6. We probably would have heard of this from somewhere else by now. And number three, it just seems a little bit like one of those little too interesting to be true. A little too interesting to be true kind of stories. So there's that. On the other hand, there are a couple of reasons to maybe consider this could be true. If we look back at Hobbs and Shaw and say Ryan Reynolds' appearance in that, well, they hid his appearance in that movie pretty damn well. I had no idea Ryan Reynolds was in that movie until I saw that movie. I had no idea. So they were able to keep that secret. Maybe they could do this. Number two, if it is a very small role, like say a Kevin Hart appearance in Hobbs and Shaw or something like that, then it probably is something you could squeeze into some reshoot dates. If it's just a scene or two, you could easily fit those in, and a scene or two that don't necessarily affect the entire plot of the movie, you could probably pretty easily slide him in there and make that happen. So, I don't know. On the one hand, and again, Hobbs and Shaw just did that with Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart. Why couldn't another Fast and the Furious universe movie, like a Fast 9, do something like that with a Ben Stiller and maybe either one or two others? So it leaves me in a place, Rob, that I don't know if this is true. I don't know, but I do believe there are some possibilities here to suggest that maybe it could be, and some possibilities to suggest that maybe it's not. Rob, you hear about this whole situation. Do you think this is something that could be true? Is this consistent? Do you think this is actually going to be what's happening? What are your thoughts?
I mean, sure, it could absolutely be true. And I don't necessarily think, for me, the one person that I care about being in Fast 9, he's in it. And I don't
Of
care.
course, yes.
I don't care if Ben Stiller's in it or not. If he plays a good role, I think he could be funny. I think he could add to the surprise. But I don't necessarily think these movies need those kinds of things. Hobbs and Shaw was so goofy that, yeah, I think having Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart worked for the film. It depends what he's playing. If he brings something unique and they've written him a good role, I'd say okay. That's all I want is, believe it or not, I still want my even Fast 8, as much as I love these movies, when they're trying to outdrive a torpedo on the ice and there's nuclear, even I'm like, it's hard for me, John. It's hard for me to go back to the heights of Fast 5. But look, as long as it's good, as long as he's good in it, I say bring it on. I can't wait.
Rob, didn't you see the trailer for the new one? He swings a car from a vine. Rob,
Dude,
verisimilitude.
Yeah, I know.
All bets are off. Listen, question here is, guys, you hear this Ben Stiller rumor / report coming from a 50-50 kind of a source. There's some reasons to believe that maybe it could be real, some reasons to believe it's not. I don't know where this leaves me. I honestly don't know if I believe it or not. What do you guys think? Do you think it'd be an interesting thing for them? Would you like to see Ben Stiller pop up in there? Do you believe it? Do you not? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.